Welcome back to WCS Europe Season 2 Premier League. Round of 16 is almost done. Group D is halfway there. We've had 2 matches in our opening games and we now have a very defined look as to how this one's going to work. The bracket right now shows you who's gone through to the winners bracket, which is going to be contested by our next 2 players, MC and VortiX. The other 2 dropping down to the lower bracket, where they'll have one more chance to win 2 matches tonight to advance to the round of 8. So, it's MC versus VortiX, a very interesting matchup indeed, not least of which because, well, let's face it, it's not yet another PvP, and both of these players needing more than a little in additional points to make the top 16 in WCS. It's all about the rankings at the end of the season, of course. This is just season 2 of 3 seasons before the BlizzCon finals at the end of the year. So which is it going to be? We'll find out very shortly. Protoss or Zerg claiming the first place out of Group D. It's time to go over to our commentary team. I just want to give a quick shout out actually to Nikita Kadam. I hope you're watching still, Nikita. She says that these 2 are the Rocky and Bullwinkle, the Chip and Dale, the Penn and Teller, the Siegfried and Roy, or the Tom and Jerry of commentating. All we know is they're Apollo and Kalaris.
Thanks very much, Paul. I don't mind Penn and Teller, although if one of us didn't talk at all, that wouldn't be a very good casting duo. So that would be kind of strange, but now we have our first series to determine who is going to advance onto the round of 8. Will it be MC, another Protoss, poking our commissioner in the belly? Or will it be VortiX here, a Zerg representative looking to fight an onslaught of, from Aya?
Both players looking really good from their initial series. In their games. Of course, MC beating out Titan 2-0 looked pretty good. VortiX looked not bad against Mana either. Derelict Watcher, a map that not too many people like to play on. Protoss players' favourite in to veto that out.
And there goes Newcoat Precinct, as Mr. VortiX doesn't want to be playing on that either. MC, you know, we've seen Protoss take pretty simple thirds. It's been actually quite hard for Zergs to punish it. Despite it being a little bit open there, Protoss have positioned buildings really, really well there.
This is the same map vetoes that we saw just now. Yeah. Exactly the same. And I think it was the same vetoes from the Protoss player versus the Zerg, if we forget the names in place. Derelict Watcher and Neoplanet S just out the way. They're difficult to play on. It's hard to take a third base. There's a lot of aggressive Zerg timings that you have to deal with, and sometimes they're too difficult. But we do have the 3 maps that we just played on. In what order, we'll find out in a moment. But it was Belshire Vestige, Whirlwind, and Star Station are the 3 maps, which I think are good. I really do think these are the best maps, and likewise to the players here.
Yeah, and it will be Whirlwind at the beginning here, then Star Station and Belshire Vestige finally. So a little bit of a reversal in regards to which maps we're going to be on at the very, very beginning here as we get invited in. But VortiX looks comfortable. He's got his little fan. I won't mind even a little smoking jacket there. Little red velvet smoking jacket will go very nicely with his Mouse Sports shirt, actually.
Yeah, it would.
So getting himself comfortable for this next impending series against a strong opponent in the form of MC. But in Heart of the Swarm, his PvP has been kind of, PvZ even, has been kind of hit and miss. Around 55%. Not too amazing.
The thing is with MC is, for me watching his games against Zerg, he hasn't changed at all. Apart from the addition of the Mothership Core, he really hasn't changed his playstyle very much. It's very aggressive. It's very 2 to 3 base attacky, if that even makes sense, and lots of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
I think this style, as I think VortiX said it in his winners interview as well, is that MC's a little bit predictable nowadays because he hasn't changed his style, and I think that may favor the Spaniard here.
And at the Intel Extreme Masters, we saw Revival take a very, very convincing 3-1 series over MC after, you know, knowing pretty much what his opponent was going to be up to. But now moving into game number 1 between these 2 players, as we have Whirlwind, our map, spawned down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Protoss, representing Korea and SK Gaming. Give it up for SKMC. And up to the top right, Blue Zerg, representing Mouse Sports and Spain. Give it up for Mouse VortiX.
I'm not too sure which way this will be played out, but we are going to have a temple. to kick us off here. So VortiX really changing it up a bit, because I think that he's playing a few mind games that MC just watched him play against another Protoss player.
Yeah, and well,
every time he went for the 14 spawning pool, 15 spawning pool.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, you know, with MC, if he looks into that and says, you're probably going to do that again. I mean, does MC now say, I feel super confident and comfortable in my position, so I'm going to go for a Nexus first? I think that certainly could be coming out here from MC.
No, it is. It is.
Uh-oh.
Gas has been kept on. So what this is from VortiX is going to be quite heavy into Zerglings to begin with. And we'll put pressure on and then increase that level with Speedlings. I don't think it's for Ro16 here. That is something that happens often, but with 4 Zerglings coming in, it makes more sense. 6 Zerglings and probably keep on increasing up.
And he's going to scout clockwise, I think.
Yeah, worst way to go here for MC.
So he's going to see VortiX last, and he's going to have a lot of aggression hitting him. He did throw the gateway down in the main base, so he could micro with it.
MC's actually scouting cross position.
Ah.
He is scouting cross position here.
He may see the direction of the Overlord, but by the time he sees that, these Zerglings are going to be knocking on his doorstep.
Well, it's too late either way. He's going to see the Overlord most likely here if he goes up to the main base, and then we'll just go right, seeing that the Overlord's been traveled from the east. So he will get there eventually, but as you can see, Zergling speed is already on its way, and Zergling's already making their way across here. This is not good for MC. He hasn't got any gas banked up yet. The assimilator's only coming, and of course he's never going to get anywhere close to the mothership core.
And the Zerglings do reroute themselves after one's been sent down to the bottom.
But he didn't show them either.
Yeah.
He just kept outside the radius of the Nexus, so MC is still completely oblivious to what's going on.
So many Zerglings in production here. Chrono boosting out a Zealot, but one Zealot alone is not going to be enough to contest against this many Zerglings. So MC is going to have to be super careful about his positioning.
I actually don't see how MC wins this.
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very difficult situation to be placed in.
Well, the Zerglings do greet all of the probe. Well, probes greet the Zerglings even. And he's going to start working away at the cybernetics core, which is a very, very important structure here at this point.
There's 16 Zerglings out with 10 more on the way. The mothership core is going to be chrono boosted out immediately, or it has to be able to help to defend this.
And they're going to get there really, really fast as well. Second Zealot does pop, so...
A Stalker. As soon as Zergling speed finishes here, and it will.
Yes, it will. He's going to try and hold it at the ramp. So that's a good position to try, but, well, the Zerglings do slip through there. A little bit of a hole actually being opened from MC, and now VortiX doing quite a lot of damage, but he does kill off a few of them.
He kills off a lot, and it's a Stalker, not a Zealot here, which isn't as good against Zerglings, and more Zerglings coming across. 20 Zerglings on the way. The mothership core is never going to get even close to a photon overcharge. All the probes are going to die immediately here.
Oh yeah, unit counts here looking very, very bad here for MC as those probes die off further and further away. The Zerglings kill off the Stalker as well. No more probes for MC.
No more probes. GG. VortiX opens up game 1 with a win. Now he's only 1 map away from making it into the round of 8, 1 step further than last season. And of course his brother fell a little bit short in the round of 16 here. VortiX can move on to the round of 8, can keep his practice and focus up, and of course add a different race into the round of 8.
Yep. If he advances on as well, the same percentage of Mouseport players that were in the round of 16 would technically also be in the round of 8 thus far, as it would be at 25%. But still, there is possibilities of Mana joining them as well to make up even more of those numbers, as we have Star Station as our second map here. And that was cool from VortiX to see just such a swing in play style, and feeling very, very confident about it.
Well, that's one of the things that makes a player a better player, or a better player a even more stronger player. Because once you're able to mix things up, you become unpredictable, and that was one of the things that we saw right here, is because MC was not expecting that at all. And this is funny because it's not just these 2 games that we've seen from VortiX today, but out of all of his games in last season and just in general, he doesn't do this very often. So he's kind of picked up this build as a secret strategy, which won't be used again anytime soon, but it's given him an edge, you know, to move on.
All right, and the countdown's begun here for game number 2. as MC, again, doesn't want to fall down into the pit. He wants to tie this thing up and then go into that third game, looking to advance onto the round of 8. But meanwhile, this man, VortiX, is one step away from advancing onto next weekend and having a massive advantage to his name, having only practiced against Protoss here, and then probably only having to play a lot of Protoss in the next stage, unless he gets really unlucky and meets MMA in the first round.
Yes.
But now we go into game number 2, as we have Star Station spawned down to the bottom left-hand corner, our red Protoss, representing Korea and SK. Ladies and gents, give it up for MC. And up to the top right-hand corner are blue Zerg, representing Mouse Sport and Spain, representing Zerg in their entirety. Give it up for Mouse VortiX.
Okie doke. So, Star Station. VortiX not doing it again. So that's a good start here. Yep. I think now that VortiX playing on Star Station, this is a really good setup. I wonder if he said to himself, right, Whirlwind, big map, right, really big map, second map, Star Station. Imagine if I can get away with the Temple and win and then go to Star Station, a map that Protoss players struggle on. It would be a very strong game plan for him. And I think you do bring up a good point. He's been practicing only versus Protoss, and it would be so good for him to move on to a round of 8 where there are 6 other Protoss players to play against.
It's amazing, actually, how things have worked out, because despite us having just, a lot of Protoss, there's still so many ways that the round of 8 could go this coming weekend. You've got people like Welmu in there, who is absolutely superb in PvP. You've got MMA, who's going to try and vanquish all of these Protoss players. And then VortiX, a player that, if he does advance, has only been practicing against Protoss and then has to go into that bracket. So many different dynamics that could work in anybody's favor.
I love that tweet. That is funny. MC, I mean, it is kind of accurate.
Yeah.
MC is not the same player he used to be. He's a one-legged Protoss these days. It is true to a certain extent. And VortiX is displaying that with a game 1 under his belt. Let's see if he can move on through. MC doing his favored Forge before Nexus here. Never ever a Nexus first.
No. As well, it's a little bit more defensive, and it's going to keep MC tighter than he would like to have been against VortiX, who, again, he showed tendencies of aggression, but MC now knows that that's not going to be the case here in game number 2.
Who do you think wins this series and goes through first place? Do you think it's the Boss Toss, come back in 2 games in a row, or is it VortiX?
I think this map might end up being too hard for him. I think that VortiX might actually take it, and we would have that Zerg representative. And he's looking in good shape here to do that.
Yeah, VortiX has got a really good style. Yeah, I really do like his style.
Right, and these Zerglings might end up catching a probe. It's going to be a little bit difficult, though, since he is mineral walking. And he's very, very close to home now, so that cannon will fend him off as well, as another probe actually goes out.
Yeah, so that probe's to go scout the third base, just to make sure that he isn't getting cheesed out again.
Yep, handing on the baton so that he can continue the relay race. And he will spot that eventually, as there's only one Zergling trailing him, which cannot kill him off, there's only one. And even just controlling the watchtower. So, VortiX, coming back to MC, what do you think MC's plan is going to be here?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was just as simple as a 2-base all-in.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised from MC. But I mean, it is difficult to tell. That's one thing with MC, is that sometimes he is difficult to read into. VortiX is going to try and read as much into him as possible with an overload on this natural to spot the gas timing on the natural.
So it was a nice move. Always a very nice move. And unlike a map like Neoplanet S, it's a bit easier to tell because of the gas positionings being separated opposed to 2 further away from where you normally would be at that natural. So that gives VortiX a slight advantage once again here on a map that he'll feel very comfortable on. And that's cleaned down production. And +1's already started here for MC.
Yeah, +1 started, and he could. I was actually, if he'd throw down the Stargate instead of +1, it probably would have just been towards Stargate play. With +1 coming down, MC's shown a style of recent months that he does like to take a very fast third base and play a very heavy gateway style. Get blinked down fast and just play with a lot of gateway units. It's something he's very comfortable in doing. I personally, and a lot of other Protoss players out there, are not comfortable. It's a very difficult thing to play, and we saw on Whirlwind on the last map between VortiX and Mana that VortiX has the capability to play very, very aggressive against this style from MC. And very shortly, I think we should be seeing that third Nexus come down. He's having a quick poke over there with a couple of units, and there comes the probe. And now it comes down to what VortiX sees and how fast, and does he want to play aggressive against this. And this Overlord sees no gases on the natural, and he's headed straight towards that third. I would love to see aggression now from VortiX.
And he actually turns the corner here, so he isn't going to see this Nexus by the looks of things. But all he really sees is a lot of pylons. And, you know, VortiX might read into that and say, well, all of these pylons are separated so well, you might actually be just throwing a load of gateways everywhere across your main to go for some aggression. And 4 Overlords start with that Roach Warren
MC.
And he's just making the units here, thinking that maybe, you know, some pokes are on the way.
Yeah, well, he deals with that very easy. He gets the surround on both of the units. Well, not on the Zealot.
He's doing actually a really good job with the Zealot. And is that really going to survive? Wow, that was very, very good there by MC.
Yeah, nice recovery from losing a lot of losing the store quite easily. But here is the third. It's been spotted, but the layer was already put down. So I don't think they were going to see a flurry of Lings and Roaches here. It's more so going to be a very fast Hydralisk Den, I think. Unless he just ignores the layer and says, well, you know, I did build it, but I don't need to use it. I can just build a lot of units. But with gases coming down, this should be for a Hydralisk Den, and we should start to see a better creep spread than last game, pushing in the direction of MC's third to try to pressure it here. I'd be surprised if it was Aspire. I definitely feel Hydralisk Den here.
Yeah, it will be very, very nice, especially with, oh wow, actually double Evolution Chamber pretty quickly here. And the Hydralisk Den, yeah, it goes down in the end, so it's going to be a very, very quick transition straight up to that Hive eventually. It's a very Hyun-esque style if he's going to go for that, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he'll rush straight up towards the Hive. He may do, but I think it's a little bit too expensive to get all these units down. I mean, if you think about it, with the Evolution Chambers finishing, he has to get 1-1, and then he needs to build Hydras, and then needs to go to Hive all at once.
It's a lot of gas.
It's a lot of gas.
A lot of gas, you're right.
But also, I mean, maybe he just goes at the Hive straight away as well. He does going to throw it down, but that means he's not going to be able to produce as many Hydras to be able to boon attack with. So his kind of plan now comes down to not trying to bring the third base down or try to punish it with Hydras or something like that, but it is to go over to very fast Vipers, but against a gateway, excuse me, only composition.
Yeah.
It's only Blinding Cloud that's really useful here.
Yeah, this is what I was going to come back to. You mentioned previously that MC was, you know, so much focused on that gateway force here, and the ability of Vipers to actually abduct is far more powerful if your opponent is going for those big chunky units. And he sees the Hive timing, so MC now knows to even stay away from the fact that, you know, you don't want to get out of those big chunky units. You want to just stick on this gateway focus. So MC, I think he's going to be very happy with what he's noticed.
And I'd also be very happy and very aggressive at the same time because he's just now seen double Evolution Chamber, Hydralisk Den, Infestation Pit, and Hive all at once. That's a lot, and as we said, you can't build a lot of units while doing this. So VortiX is down in supply. MC picks up his opportunity to go across the map. He researches Blink, he researches +2. There is the pylon, and MC is going to try to bring down this fourth base. And upon bringing down this fourth base, he has transition set up. The Temporal Archives has started, as well as the robotics facility. And as long as he kills the fourth base, that's a job well done.
Yeah, he picked a great direction to go out and try and apply some pressure here, but that actually even might have just been a little bit of a fake out for a second there, forcing out a lot of units, but it doesn't make any sense, because again,
that's a little bit weird he didn't go for that. He was postured up to go, he was going to build down a pylon, and then he changed his mind last minute. I don't know what triggered that. He really didn't see anything, didn't scout anything. He now pokes across and sees a lot of units being made, but he didn't do that before.
Well, he's going to fall back onto Storm, Blink, +2, Dark Shrine, Robo Facility, everything, and the kitchen sink here. As I actually don't mind this too much from MC, but he could have, you know, done something.
I see his plan now. Okay, so it's going to come down to the third base. It's a less narrow area. It's very focused because it's only 2 channels of his army movement.
Yeah.
And then he's sending Zealots towards the fourth base. So he's trying to get both now. A good fight on the third in a narrow area, but also Blinding Cloud's going to be very strong here, remember. But then Zealots on the fourth as well. This is kind of smart, looking for both rather than one.
All these Vipers draining their energy here so they can actually get this going. Guardian Shield is up, as well as the Zealot's not doing too much. There was an Abduct there, which pulled away the mothership core.
So no recall.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter here, as MC is going to be able to get out. He wants to bring this 4th base down. Is he going to be able to pick it off, though?
Zealot's doing very well over at that location, and I think he will actually get it before these units actually die off, so a fantastic pickup there for MC. Down to the south, though, his army's still got to retreat out. Oh, the Vipers don't extend.
He's got to be careful there. Good force fields, 2, 3 roaches, 4 roaches get picked off. MC's still down at 150 supplies. 6 extra gateways coming in from the boss toss. Seen to has had a lot of money in the bank. As Thrustly started a bunch of Zealots and an Immortal. Now he's going to keep up the pressure, though. This is, you know, just traditionally MC. Loves to be active, loves to be aggressive.
And now this is where VortiX kind of has to do damage, I feel, because his upgrades are going to be completely lackluster in comparison to MC's if he doesn't, you know, actually do something about his opponent's army. That being said, though, VortiX does have a pretty strong army.
But Storm is also pretty strong.
That's true. That is a pretty strong army that he has right now. And we'll see if this is actually going to work out as VortiX does move in. Blinding Clouds hit, but those storms were fantastic as they rained down across a lot of this Roach Hydra composition. Still actually microing back where he can, though. A lot of firepower still here for VortiX. Those units are very, very weak, but they didn't fully die with that. And now VortiX actually just keeps so much of his army alive during this. The Archon's trying to push forwards along with these Zealots, but there's still so many Hydras here.
Yeah, and there's a lot more units in the production tab, too. And MC is down to 100 supply here. The Zealot's getting picked off. VortiX is micro, dodging out of the storms, pulling weaker units back. Like you said, he's able to keep a lot of units alive for a very long time. 164 supply. Is he just going to wipe out the boss toss? Is it just like this? Is it this simple for VortiX to come in and just 4-0 his group?
Seemingly so here. I mean, he's been practicing against Protoss only, and it's really showing right now. MC did a lot of damage previously, but still VortiX following up with a very strong push here. The Stalkers should be able to hold on behind this, though, and the income for MC behind this is still pretty darn good. So this game isn't over just yet.
No, MC holds on. 4th base not being mined from VortiX. MC has equal economy and is now chasing down the reinforcements. And no, it was not that simple for VortiX to pick up a 4-0, as MC is fighting back with everything he's got. He's got a Dark Shrine finished up now as well, so we see DTs coming in to harass these external bases. And MC with +3 attack on the way, very strong upgrades. Ultraless Cavern is down 2. The Immortals are being added into the mix.
MC has a great opportunity here now to do a lot of damage. This one Dark Templar alone is doing the business, as getting a lot of drone kills, having to flee back to this and kill it off with the Overseer now morphing in. But MC's going to mine out very soon at his main.
Yeah, and he's okay for now, though.
Yeah, he should be fine. He should be fine. Still another Dark Templar here. How many workers has he killed off? He's killed off 22, so
keeping
not too
his
bad.
opponent down for sure. Look at that. Nice amount of units killed.
But it's still 78 drones against 71 probes. Yep. So, yes, he had to replenish, and the Ultralist Caverns now, oh god. But for MC, he never went up to a robo base, so there were never Colossi, so anything that his robo facility would be producing was those Immortals that he has now coming out again.
Yeah, so I think that the composition that VortiX has is very strong. I really like playing with this style, because what you aim to do is for the Vipers to pull in the Immortals, which are meant to be the things to stop the Ultralists.
Yeah.
And then when they get adopted in, the Hydras kill them off so fast, and then the Ultralists can do the rest of the work. But you really do need a high supply count to play this style. You need to be at 200 supply, which VortiX is at. And very soon he'll make an attack. Zergling was killed there, and so he knows that MC's trying to take a 4th. So this is the trying to trigger. He'd be happy to sit back and just bank money if MC was on 3 bases, but now that he knows that MC's trying to take a 4th, this is VortiX's opportunity. Doesn't have the best upgrades, as you can see, only +1 melee just about to finish for these Ultralisks. But the Hydras do have a lot of damage behind the Ultras, of course, which will tank a lot.
And now that I think about it, in the round of 32, wasn't it VortiX that just refused to die in a particular game? I think it might have been against Terran, actually. But he had a lot of Ultras out on a very low economy and just refused to die. And VortiX here, once again, he's just not only going to refuse to die, but he's also just going to put the pressure on. Those High Templars are very, very vulnerable right now. Oh, they go down. The Storms hit a little bit there, but they could have done much more, could those High Templars.
Yeah, and look, he's dealt out a lot of damage there, and he's going to be able to destroy this 4th base, and that's the real goal there, while being able to keep his 5th alive. Remember, VortiX has a lot of money now banking. Doesn't have too much protection on that right-hand side, and the DT's causing trouble on the third as well. 17 kills there.
Not too much protection anywhere right now back at home, so he's losing quite a bit. The Spore Crawler is there to grant him the vision of that Dark Templar, so he should be able to kill that off with the 2 Spine Crawlers. But 37 workers have gone down, but he still has 61 behind it anyway. And MC trying desperately to take this base where he can, but the Ultras are still in production, and the kindness plating did finish, of course, but +3 armor is going to be done for them soon as well.
Look how strong his army is, and when the upgrades finish, which are on the way. All right, let's see if the boss Tusk can do it.
That's a lot of Zealots here. How much are they going to be able to do? He even drops the Storm straight on top of these Ultralisks as well, knowing that, you know, despite actually having a better idea of dropping them on the Hydralisks, he needs to kill off these Ultralisks as quickly as possible. But VortiX still powering on forwards here. There's only 2 Immortals left to deal with that Ultra as well as these Hydralisks. And I don't know whether or not MC's going to be able to hold this. Oh, but those 2 Dark Templar not really doing too much either. Great use of the what's it called? That's the one. Easily shutting that down in terms of production. And VortiX doing a great job.
A nice game from the Spaniard here. He looks like he's going to get a lot of his units cleaned up, but he's dealt a lot. And on 5 bases is able to replenish the majority of his army as he has a lot more Ultras coming in. But MC survives again. MC resilient here to be pushed down. Remember, would go down to the finals match.
But again,
another fight coming in, and this time they're going to have upgrades. +2 melee finishing up, and +3 carapace, +5 with the plating that the Ultralists do have, and 170 supply to 111.
Only has 1 Immortal, second one's on the way. And only 3 Archons with 11 Zealots. 1 High Templar here. Does he have energy for Storm? No, he does not just yet, as those Archons get pulled straight on forwards into those Hydralisks, and the Ultralisks just turn straight on around and kill it off. There you go, GG!
Well done.
And VortiX not only advances on, but is the only Zerg here to take the win, as we have the back of someone's shirt.
That's right. VortiX, congratulations. A great performance today. 4-0 in games against Protoss. And it seemed to be like his practice against only Protoss really paid off for him here.
Yeah.
And that's going to help him in the round of 8 as well this coming weekend. And we kind of have our round of 8 races set up now. 6 Protoss players. We still have to figure out which other one's going to advance from this group. A single Terran in the likes of MMA, and a single Zerg in the likes of VortiX.
Yep, so there is certainly the potential here for upsets against the Protoss race. So here's the winning moment from game number 2 as VortiX. I'm sure we'll see the relief here of him advancing on. And whoa, not only relief, but also a lot of passion here from VortiX.
Yeah, he really enjoyed that win.
Yeah.
And it's hard work paid off. He had a disappointing tournament, I think, for his likes at the Asus ROG just a week ago, and finishing in the round of 16, losing 3-0 versus his brother, and then losing 3-1 versus Gosu user. But now he's kind of put his hard work together. He's practiced hard for this WCS. He's made it one step further than Season 1, which was the round of 16. Yep. And he's in the round of 8, and there's more Protoss players to chew on there.
And I'd love to hear what he has to say now, moving on to the round of 8. So let's go over to VortiX and Red Eye with the interview.
Thank you very much. Yes, with the winner, VortiX, congratulations. A 2-0 win against MC after following it up against a 2-0 win over Mana. Did you have any idea that you would come into this round of 16 and just blow everyone away 4-0?
I thought that if I played good, I could do it. But, yeah, of course, I never expected this. So happy right now.
Okay. Talk us through map 1. Did everything go to plan? I mean, you obviously set out to do the early push and be aggressive.
Actually, I have to thank Bly for that game, because I was watching his match history, and MC did this greedy build versus him. So I thought it would be insta-win if I did this, and it worked out pretty fine.
Certainly did. Map 2 was a little bit harder, though. Lots of aggression in the mid-game. Looked like you had him on the ropes. Then he has a great hold, comes back again, you rebuild, you go back, you have another confrontation with him, he holds again. Were you starting to think, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
Not really, because in upgrades, he wasn't like ahead or something, and he was all the time in 3 bases. And even though I kept losing the engages, I kept killing his tier units, like all the Immortals, the Archons. So even though I lost, I knew that my tech was going to be much better. So actually, I felt like very confident all throughout the game.
So you are our only Zerg representative in the round of 8. You've stopped it being 7 Protoss in the quarterfinals, so that must feel extra special. It's good for us as well from the neutral point of view. We love the fact that there's a few more races in there. Do you think that, like TLO did last season, where you only had to practice one matchup, you've only had to practice one matchup for your round of 16, you pretty much only have to practice one matchup for your quarterfinals as well, depending on the draw. Does that really, how much help does that give you?
Well, it helps a lot in practice matters, but of course, CVP is maybe a bit hard now. So yeah, on one hand it's good because you can just practice as much as you want just this match. It's what I did on the last 3 days. I maybe played 30 CVPs. But yeah, on the other hand, if you are not doing so well in that match, I don't think it's that good.
Okay, talk to me about Mouse Sports. You've been with them for a few months now. It seems outwardly, from our point of view, looking back, it seems to be a very sort of family-orientated group of guys now. You've got Mana, you've got Hasselhoffs, and you're all doing really well. So how has it been for you?
It's great. Like, since the very first moment I've joined Mouse, everything has gone great with them. Such a professional team, and yeah, not much more.
Has it helped with the practice?
Yeah, probably. I've always been like a ladder player. That's most of my practice, but yeah, after getting into Mouse, I have kind of been pushed, we could say, into practicing together and so on, and I feel I'm improving much more.
All right, well, best of luck in the quarterfinals. VortiX is our only Zerg representative into the round of 8. We'll see him at the weekend. Don't forget, it's Saturday and Sunday this weekend for that quarterfinals. For now, we're going to go back to Apollo for some analysis breakdown.
Thank you, Red Eye. Once again, you are one of the best, aren't you? Now it's time to look at the analysis screen of Knowledge, once again, where we're going to be jumping into that last map between these two players. And I think that there was a bit of vulnerability in the style that VortiX chose to use here. And it was the fact that he decided to go for a double evolution chamber, upgrading his units twice at the same time, a Hydralisk Den, and an infestation pit ready to go to Hive. So a lot of everything, but also a lot of a little of units, sorry, a lot less than units. When at the moment, I think in his units tab, he has hardly any army at all. 9 Hydralisks, sorry, and 5 Roaches with a handful of Zerglings. That's not very strong, especially against what MC has coming. MC, upon seeing this information, did decide to move out on the map, and we can see here that he wanted to build a pylon. But as we can see here, VortiX on top of things came in and decided to say, not gonna work. So what ends up happening now is MC was trying to move out for his timing, to move out for his push to punish this player. And then all of a sudden he has second thoughts because he moves down, he's like, I don't have a pylon, a probe, any close, it's kind of far, it's gonna be late. No, not gonna do it. And this single decision here kind of hurt him a little bit. As we see the Robo and the Temporal Archives come down, he said, all right, what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna try a different angle, a different approach, and then of course have a backup plan. So I want to do damage and then fall on going over into Immortals, going over into High Templar and Storm and Dark Templar for harassment. So he decides to come around this right hand side, but all throughout of this indecisiveness or change of mind, however you want to call it, if we pause it now, right before this happens, is now all of a sudden VortiX has found his way up to 183 supply. No longer does he have 9 Hydralisks and 5 Roaches. He now has a bunch of units on the screen, as we can see, even going over MC in his army strength. So through this decision movement, we now have VortiX, who actually did lose a base in this, be ready and set up to defend what MC had. So if we play through this now, his Vipers are ready and his upgrades are finished. So he's been able to use those double evolution chambers. He's been able to get to Hive and get to Vipers, and now he's also made an army. So as we can see, when MC comes in, there is absolutely no way that this gateway-only army, with blinding clans everywhere, the Mothership Core gets ripped off and destroyed immediately. There are these zealots coming in to do damage. Yes, this does hurt VortiX's economy, but everything else that he has, as he said in the winner's interview, is set up perfectly because he got to where he needed to be. He immediately expands to this east side and re-expands to the north. But the most important part of all of this is that he's able to build his army and strengthen up his later stages quite easily here through MC, giving him the time, giving them the freedom to get to where he wanted to be. And if we fast forward from this position, MC's only on 3 bases, he doesn't have a very large army, and he gets pummeled through all these Roach and Hydras through the Viper's blinding clouds and bringing in, and especially the target fight here. If we just actually rewind this for a second, we can even see some of the micro from VortiX, which allowed his units to stay alive longer. So what ends up happening is he goes into this, he does get stormed, but he immediately gets out of the storm and takes, you know, a good couple of seconds away from the storms. And then he dodges another one and comes back in. By now, MC has no storms left, but still the majority of the army is left. So with great ability to get up to where he needs to be, with great fights and great micro in his army, and blinding cloud still coming down, he really does do a lot of damage to MC. And it's almost like he punishes the player that tried to punish him. And from this position, he's up to 5 bases, he has the Ultras coming down, and throughout the rest of the game, he just hammers and hammers and hammers until eventually he breaks the MC line. So this was pretty cool play from VortiX, and I really like to see this. Maybe it could have gone the other way if MC had the opportunity to break in before VortiX was set up, but that wasn't the case, and VortiX was able to take up the 2-0. So that's me done over here. Over to you, Red Eye.
Thank you very much, good sir. Wonderful analysis again from our resident expert, Mr. Apollo, who is now part of an Archon known as the Apocalypse. See what they did there? It's about the best one we've had so far. But keep the Archon names coming. You can do so via Twitter. Twitter.com/StarCraft, of course. You make sure you follow them because all the good news is coming from them. And Facebook.com/StarCraft as well. And also on Twitter, use the hashtag #WCS and your tweet could be featured during the show. Also, 1 Zerg and 3 Protoss walked into a bar. I've got my eye on you, Mr. Yon Merlo. Todd will be happy at the end of this weekend, I'm sure, with the amount of Protoss in the final. And you could be here too. You could also join us in the studio if you can get your tickets for Saturday and Sunday. And you can also join us, even if you aren't in Germany, you can join us via the Twitch channel, which you can subscribe to right now for a very tidy small sum. And you'll get lots of cool features extras. 720 plus, 720p plus. Of course, nice for the viewing pleasure at home, no matter how you've got it set up. I know some of you have got your big scary screens up there on that. Hello, by the way. Well done, in high definition. You'll also get subscriber chat, which is nice because you can have a chat with me. And of course, you'll get some special emoticons. Are you ready, Twitch chat? GG, OP. It's all going off in there right now. We are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll find out whether our opening losers have got what it takes to make the round of 8. They'll have another chance at glory.